All right, so you're not a racer. You hear watts, you think light bulbs, but you keep hearing about power meters. Do you actually need a power meter? Would it benefit your riding? Could it make it more interesting? Potentially more fun? A lot of cyclists think power meters are just for racers, and that's not exactly true. The real question is, could a power meter help you ride better, even if you aren't training for anything? Let's break it down. A lot of non-competitive cyclists, like us, are curious if they should get a power meter. The default answer tends to be no. That's for serious cyclists. But for the last year and a half, I've been using one, and I have to admit, it's changed the way I ride. But not in a training for the tour, type A kind of way. More in a, oh, this is helping me ride smarter kind of way. All right, let's set the record straight. Power meters are not exclusively for racers. In fact, they're one of the best tools we have for understanding what's happening with our effort on the bike. And it's much more reliable than heart rate, which can lag behind and be affected by stress, sleep, caffeine. And I'm guilty of this one. Thinking I could use perceived effort to monitor what's happening, your mind and body are gonna play tricks on you. It just, no. So the solution is power. It's objective, it's real time, it tells you exactly how hard you're working. That means pacing is easier, tracking progress is cleaner, and if you actually want to get stronger without guessing, the answer is power. How does this actually help if you're not training for races? You ever start a ride feeling like $1,000,000 only to blow up a couple hours later?
I'm like beyond fucking right now.
A power meter can fix this. A power meter can help you find your sustained power output, which can be a game changer for long bikepacking missions or big endurance rides. So instead of unknowingly burning through a bunch of matches too soon, you can settle into a steady power range, which can be the key for conquering long sessions in the saddle. It's almost like being able to read your own gas tank. Kind of, sort of, maybe. This is classic. Group ride, Johnny Turbo, off the front, zero cycling etiquette, pushing the pace. Instead of just assuming that you can hold their wheel, the power meter will let us know if we're pushing beyond our threshold and have to back off so that we can ride the rest of the day. Which reminds me, if you think a video on cycling etiquette would be helpful, drop a 9 in the chat. But if you've got some die-by-the-sword rules of cycling etiquette, put those down below. You ever tried selling a bike online? It's like trying to sell a pet. Shipping's awkward, fees bite you in the wallet, and we're left hoping somebody's gonna give our bike the loving home it deserves. Meet Bicycle, a marketplace that actually gets cyclists. Whether you're looking to upgrade, downsize, or would just like a different two-wheeled friend, Bicycle makes it easy. Skip the stress. They handle packaging, shipping, and all the nitty-gritty logistics. Just shoot some photos, list your bike in under 3 minutes, and boom, let the offers start pouring in. They're just pouring in. And buyers get up to 70% off of retail for your dream bike. Yeah, 70%. That's like finding money in your jersey pocket after laundry day. Got a bike to sell? List it today and use offer code EBD30 for 30% off seller protection fees. I'll even put a link down below. Your bike will be so happy it might even leave you a 5-star review. Oh, this is big news. They just added components to their arsenal. I don't want you losing out on other platforms that take your hard-earned cash and leave you handling the mess. Bicycle is where your bike gets its second, third, or fourth life it deserves at the best value for you. So feel free to start your next bike adventure with Bicycle, because every bike deserves a good second chance. And so do you. You ever feel like you're losing or gaining fitness, but you're not really sure? A power meter is going to be brutally honest here. It'll tell you if you're maintaining, improving, or if you need to ride more. Even if it's just riding a familiar route with power, That's enough to give you some insight on what direction your fitness is going. And this is kind of crazy. With power, we can improve fitness without doing intervals or an FTP test. Yeah, and anything we can do to avoid an FTP test is a net win. Just keeping your eye on your steady state power on regular rides is enough to spot trends. And if you're looking to build fitness for bigger missions, power zones can help you understand the correct intensity to sit in to help accomplish this. All right, so you got a power meter. Now what? All right, we don't have to go all Johnny Rocket to get good use out of this, but there are a few things we're gonna have to do. We're gonna need a head unit. I recently switched back to Garmin. I just like the ecosystem, but all brands are gonna have similar features. So here are 3 ways to get some value out of a power meter for non-competitive cyclists. Go on a few steady, familiar rides. This will establish your baseline, which is super helpful for pacing on longer efforts to see if you're going above or below your normalized power. But if your power keeps spiking, you're burning too many matches. So the goal is to keep that power stable, which will help you last way longer, especially on bigger efforts. And Garmin has this funny power gauge, which I've found very helpful. It's just really easy to see which zone you're in, if you're going too hard or too easy. Power meter. Also super helpful for tracking progress without overthinking it. As I said before, this mitigates the need for an FTP test. We can just do our normal rides and compare our power over time. If our power is getting higher on these familiar rides, we're getting stronger. But if we notice our power dropping and we're riding the same amount, it might mean it's time for a break. And if you're riding less and the power's dropping, it might mean it's time to ride more. Okay, I'm interested. Which one should I get? Pedal-based power meters are great for people that have multiple bikes. They install like any other pedal, and it also makes them a nice option for people that are power curious. Although, they tend to be the slightly heavier option overall, and compared to a traditional SPD, are around 100 grams more. Oh shit. And if you're wanting to switch between road, gravel, and mountain, you're gonna have to run the same cleats on all of these bikes. Some people care, I don't know, some people don't. And for price, they're surprisingly not the most affordable option. They land somewhere in the middle. And for accuracy, they're considered good. Slight inconsistencies can happen due to pedal float and shoe position. And the pedals come with single or dual power, and I've found the single is fine. The double is just twice as much, slightly more accurate, but your choice. But I do think they're a smart choice if they're your first power meter. Hey, if you're getting a little value out of this, you're enjoying yourself, feel free to subscribe. That leaves crank-based power meters. This is my preferred method as it's reliable, consistent, and just straightforward. And these can be one of the more affordable options for power meters. A left arm based power meter can start at around $200. And of course it can go up from there. Dual-sided crank-based power meters can go up to $1,500, $2,000. I personally have been running a spider or chainring-based power reader. I feel like it kind of splits the difference. It's great. No complaints. No matter what system, there's always a weight penalty. The chainring to the spider, for me, it was a penalty of about 83 grams. So it's similar to the pedals. And overall, the crank-based power meters are just more consistent and accurate. You just can't swap them between bikes. I mean, you can, but If you want the best balance of price, accuracy, and installation, crank-based is the way to go. If you have multiple bikes, like to experiment, and want even easier installation, then a pedal-based power meter might make the most sense. I'll put links to the power meters I've used down below. All right, do you need a power meter? Absolutely not. Although, if you're looking to accomplish bigger rides, this is only one component to the equation. The other thing you'll have to do is check out this video, where I go over the key components for getting us set up for success in doing bigger miles. You can become a centurion without being a centurion.